It's a show. It's a podcast show. Welcome to the Julie Cross Podcast Show. Empowering, energising and entertaining. Hi friends, welcome to my podcast show. Great to have you here in the podcast room. Wanted to talk about some of the lessons from autism today, of living and loving with autism. You know, Thomas has taught me so much along the way in this journey that is autism. And, you know, last night, here he is at 17, and last night I was laying in bed and listening to him in the shower, and it seems, you know, some of us maybe sing in the shower, some of us get our greatest ideas in the shower. Well, Thomas certainly uses the shower for a debriefing time. He still talks to himself so much, and he does it out loud. I mean, I know all of us talk to ourselves every now and again out loud, but Thomas does it quite regularly and all of the time. And it's like he does a run through his day and does this debrief about certain things that perhaps happen in his day. And sometimes I find out what's happened in his day by listening to him at the shower door, of talking to himself and replaying conversations that he might have had at school. And this is great technique, you see. And I remember, you know, when he was little, I was sitting in the office at one stage and Thomas was playing his Wii and he was chatting to himself about the game that he was playing. But then I really listened because I suddenly heard his tone change, and I was listening and I heard him say, you know, to himself, "Oh, I'm still sad about my dad because, you know, my dad died. I don't have a dad. I just have a mummy. Yeah, my dad died." And then I sort of watched him shake his head as if to sort of remove the thoughts out of his head, and then continue to play his game, have a laugh and start talking about the Wii game again. You see, what he's doing in that moment is great, you know, and I didn't interrupt. I could have interrupted and felt it was my time to step in, but I just don't believe it was. He was talking himself through it. You know, it was his own little therapy session. And that's a great lesson for all of us. You know, he talked himself through the moment. He stated his truth. He allowed himself his moment of sadness. And then he allowed himself to move on to his next new moment and have some laughter and fun again. And so that's a great lesson for me in that. And, you know, I have to talk myself through it so often too. You know, at the beginning of a year, I always sort of start out wondering how I'm going to do it again. And then I talk myself through it. I talk myself down. Now, I don't necessarily do it out loud. I do it in my head, but I talk myself through it. Julie, you've got this. You know, evidence suggests that you always do this. You can do it again. You know, you've got your back. The universe has always been on your side. Haven't you noticed that? And so that's me giving myself some therapy, having a little therapy session. And I think there's actually some power to sometimes doing it out loud, because there is some suggestion to us that by saying it out loud, we hear it differently. We hear the message differently and our brains pick it up a little differently. So it's actually a more powerful statement. So that's why they say with affirmations to do them out loud to yourself so that you can hear yourself saying it. So you see, Thomas is actually more enlightened than me in that he still gets that and he still allows himself to do it. He's not concerned about what I'm thinking about him in the shower, talking to himself. And he doesn't walk it along the street. Like he walks, people see him walking along the street talking to himself. And I just think that's so beautiful. And, you know, and I know some people are looking at him like we all do when I see this old guy that walks around in front of me here down at Redcliffe talking to himself. You know, we have that moment of thinking they're a little bit weird or eccentric. Well, I don't anymore. You know, I smile to myself and think, good on you, good strategy, nice work. And so Thomas has taught me a lot in being able to talk yourself through it. So allow yourself to talk yourself through it. You're wiser than you know. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Would you like a little bit more sparkle? Then you're invited to download a free poster at juliecross.com.au.